Inspiration 1390 family, it's Sonia Blakey. It's February, the month of love, and I wanted to bring back Relationship Talk Thursday. Now, you know I've done this for many years with Pastor Ford. We call him the Love Doctor, and we've also had Love McPherson, but we switched it up a little bit. And they are a power couple for real. They have a book called actually Power Couples, and I'm excited about this opportunity, excited about this moment. I believe the Lord was speaking to me when I put the request out. Pastor Jermone Glenn, hey, and Pastor Erica Glenn.
Hello.
And they serve as executive pastors there at New Life with Pastor Hannah.
Yep.
Is that correct? And
that's correct.
He's okay with y'all doing this, right?
He's ecstatic with us doing this. He's happy.
Yeah.
It's an answer to his prayer.
This used to be home for Pastor Hannah.
Exactly.
So this is excellent. So tell us a little bit about you guys. You've been married for, this will be your 20th year. Tell us a little bit about your relationship, the dynamic of who you guys are.
Yeah, we celebrate 20 years this year in April.
Woo-hoo.
Just a couple months. So excited. We have 3 incredible children, Josiah, Monet, and Jonathan. We've been senior pastors and leaders in the city of Grand Rapids before we moved to Chicago. I'm originally from Chicago. My wife is originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Uh-huh.
She's a retired educator, principal, teacher, who's School of America teachers, Bethune-Cookman alumni, all the things. She's incredible. Everything's better when she's around.
Okay.
And so, we love marriages and believe part of our mission is to, heal, restore, celebrate Black marriages, particularly, because marriages are under attack.
Yes.
But it's God's original idea.
Amen.
Yeah.
And you have children. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Yes, so my oldest is 24. We are a blended family, so I didn't birth him, but he does have a little stretch mark over here that is designated just for him.
Okay.
Our daughter, Monet, is a senior this year, so she will be graduating from high school, and our baby, Jonathan, is a freshman. He's a freshman. And our dog, Royalty, she is 9 years old.
Okay.
And our
awesome.
dog Royalty. Shout out to Royalty.
Believe me, I know dogs are part of the family. We got 2.
Okay.
Oh my God, they're very much a part of our family. So how did you guys get into marriage ministry? Because I think it's really unique it's a unique ministry. Everybody can't talk to couples and to singles. So how did you all get into this?
So I'll start off first. So when we first got together, I don't think we thought about that this was what we were going to be doing, but my husband always, when we were engaged, he was just always talking to me about, we have to protect our story. We have to protect our story. Because I was like, whatever. I was like, let's just go to the fireplace, let's get married, and let's just call it a day. But he was just very, very intentional about protecting our story. And then we had a prophet that came and let us know that this is what we would be doing and that we would speak to this generation. So
it kind of, and we didn't choose it as much as it chose us, in our calling, just to say yes. We have come out of broken families in the sense that we both come out of divorced homes. We decided that we didn't want that to be a generational situation for us. Very adamantly, as you heard, we're a bonus family. I did have my oldest son in the context of marriage, a marriage that did not work. What I say or consider to be my greatest failure is that breakup in that situation. But however, in the recovery, in an amazing way. We all get along. My ex-wife, my wife, my son, it's really strange, but it's great. It didn't end that way, but I'm so glad that it stayed that way. And so in the process of that, we learned a lot through mistakes, through failures, through ups and downs. We had some incredible marriage mentors. My wife's grandparents, Bishop William C. Abney and Lady Lorraine Abney, was married 43 years in ministry. We hung out with, as my wife said, hung out with the old people. We drove them around, took them to lunch, took them to dinner. Chauffeurs sat at their house, listened to them, learned from them. Our current leaders, that Pastor Hannah and Hannah, they also have a great 32 years of marriage. Our pastors who live in Omaha, Dr. Martin and Pastor Linnell, who's been a part of our lives for over a decade. They have 30 plus years of marriage. So we've been surrounded around that. And so the mantle, the mandate just kind of fell on us in that regard. And so we really are advocates for marriage and for family. And people make it harder than it has to be. So we try to lend the wisdom that God has given us through both our experiences, our mentors, and counseling couples to help people stay out the weeds.
Y'all in the right place at the right time. Okay, it is Relationship Talk Thursday. We are back with Pastor Jermone Glenn and Pastor Erica Glenn, married for 20 years this year. We're going to come back and talk about their book, Power couples. We're also going to welcome your calls, because I know a lot of you all may have questions that you may have outside of the topic, and we welcome those as well. And they look so cute today, y'all. Y'all got to see the video. They came in matching with red hoodies on. I'm like, this is love for real.
That's all right. Hates when we match. We did it to him. Shout out to PA. We matching today.
All right, we're going to come back on this Relationship Talk Thursday. Good morning, Inspiration 1390 family. It's a great day talking with Pastor Jermone Glenn and Pastor Erica Glenn. They are my relationship couple on this Relationship Talk Thursday. I think this is going to be a long-lasting relationship. I think something is happening in this room. And we're talking about their book, Power Couples. And we were talking about submission earlier. You guys can go back to our Facebook page or Instagram page, whatever, and see what that was all about. But I was saying to Pastor Glenn, to Pastor Jermone, and Pastor Erica that I wish that a lot of people were able to sit in the room with you to talk about the concept of marriage, what it takes, because you could probably save a lot of marriages and people could better understand what it means to submit, what it means to be a power couple. And you wanted to pick up from there, Pastor Jermone?
Yeah, it's so good. It's like one of the things that we always consider is that people are attracted to or they date vision, but they marry values, right? So they think they're dating vision, but they think they're marrying vision, but they're really dating vision and dating values. Because when you're in the dating phase and you sit down and say, well, what do you want to do? Well, everybody can paint a big picture. I want to go here. I want to do this. I see ourselves. I see. But if you lean into that person that you're talking to while they're painting this broad stroke picture of vision and see how they behave in the value system, in their value structures, do they manage money? Do they value it? Do they manage time? Do they keep their word? Are they a person of integrity? You'll see character traits that'll let you know if those value systems are in place, that will end up inevitably bringing you into the place of vision. And so while you may be attracted to someone's vision, don't marry their vision, marry their values, and make sure that you have similar values, because if you have similar values, then all the conflict or the tension points in a marriage come around values. They always late. They don't pay bills on time. It's value stuff. It's not vision stuff. So the tension is in the values. And so women often have a struggle point of submission because when they run into the dream that you sold me in vision, it's not lining up, bro, with the values that you have. And so my wife's struggle was never in her desire to necessarily submit. It was in the doing of the submission. But some of the things that made it easier for her to submit early on was because we had similar values. Our purpose match. Want to talk about that, babe?
Yeah, so it was interesting when I met him. I'd known him since we had known each other since we were teenagers. But I was at his apartment and he was in his office or whatever.
Okay.
So you dating. So I was like, behind him, looking around, being nosy, trying to figure out what I need to know. And I saw on his computer, he had like a 5-year vision and a 10-year vision and a 3-year vision. And then I started looking at the things that he had bullet points by, and I was like, I thought I was the only weird person who thought like this, or I thought that, I didn't think anybody would want a family meeting and all this other kind of stuff. And I felt like I was in his goals and his vision because they were mine. So I was not trading my vision or my goals to be with someone. I was really bringing whatever I was to the table. He was bringing whoever he was to the table. And we weren't losing anything because we wanted the same thing. So it was like all of the other people that I had dated, I didn't necessarily see. They had vision, but their values didn't match what they said that they wanted in their life. And I could see this man wanted these things, and these are the exact same things that I wanted. And I'm like, oh, if this happened, I could do this. I could lay back because I know he's going to make certain things happen. And when we were with my grandparents, they had been married over 50 years, and my grandfather and my grandmother would always talk about how Sarah called Abraham Lord, little Lord. And my grandmother looked me straight in my face and she said, if you cannot call him little Lord, don't marry him. She said, because you will emasculate him. And every single opportunity it is for him to stand up and be a leader, he will not be the leader because in your head, he's not Lord. Not Lord. Like not Lord of all.
Not Lord of all.
Not all.
Lord.
That's Bible.
With the little L.
That's Bible though. The Bible says submit to your husband as unto the Lord.
That's biblical.
It's Bible. It's exactly what it says. And I think a lot of ladies enter into a relationship without the consideration that could he be my little Lord? Could I follow him in that same manner? And I think a lot of husbands enter into a relationship without feeling the weight and the responsibility of God is seeing you in this seat as a representation of him. It's not a tit for tat, not a if she does and if I do and I'll get what I get, but you have your separate responsibility as unto God to treat your wife and let your wife feel the affirmation and the revelation of your love. And when she feels your love, she should feel like God is loving her. And in the same sense as a wife, that when you're submitting to this man, can you see him in the identity that God put him? And when you function in those matters the way he created, because it's God's idea. Everybody want to redefine God's idea. You can't redefine God's idea of marriage. You just can try to live up to it and understand it. And when you get engaged in that matter, then you unlock your power, the power and the potential of your purpose of who God created you to be. So value is really the area that we got to lean into more. Less vision, more value. Yes, where we're going, but how are we going to get there? Because the tension is not in the vision. The tension is in the values.
I like that. No, so we don't have. You can touch on this when we get back.
Okay.
So is that what dating is all about? Where you kind of investigating, you're inspecting, and you know what I'm saying. You're trying to figure out what this where you find out the values. Is this what's supposed to be happening when you're dating?
So my wife, I'm gonna let her. She cleared her throat because this is her area. Because she has to chime in on this because I wasn't a dater. Right, so when I got saved, I didn't date. I wasn't dating girls. I couldn't do it. I had to, come to a strict side of my faith so that I didn't know how to intertwine. So even in our relationship where she said we was dating or whatever, it's a dig towards me because I told her we never dated. We were courting because I always engaged her with the intent to be my wife. Period. I only saw her that way. I had no energy around investigating beyond that. My wife is the one that educated me on what a working definition of dating is that I could agree with, and you summed it up well.
Can we let's pause that right there. We're gonna come back and
cliffhanger.
We're gonna put the people on the edge of this. He's like, okay, what is Pastor Erica gonna say? We're gonna come back. Relationship Talk Thursday here with Pastor Jermone Glenn and Pastor Erica Glenn. So happy Relationship Talk Thursday is back. And they are a power couple for real. This is not just a book they wrote, Power Couples. They are a power couple. I'm here with Pastor Jermone Glenn and Pastor Erica Glenn, the Glens, who are executive pastors there at New Life. And they also are over the marriage ministry there at New Life, correct?
That's correct.
And so you have a book called Power Couples. Can you tell us what this book is about? And it's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I think the idea centered around the book is, first of all, everybody should be a power couple.
Right.
Because it's not just the iconic people you think about on TV or even just us, but every relationship has the potential to be a power couple and to use its power for the advancement of its family dynamic. And usually finding that power is in your differences, believe it or not. So differences don't have to mean disconnection. Actually, it is the source and the strength of your power. God created us in Genesis, made equal in dominion, equal in authority, but we got different roles and different assignments. And so usually they say opposites attract, and the things that you love, like, or attracted about your partner is the things that's different. But yet and still, when you get into conflict or intention or growth point opportunities, differences end up being disconnection. We don't want differences to be disconnection, but we want you to learn how to use your differences as your power, right?
Yeah, that's good. Pastor Erica, what would you say, how would you define a power couple? Because that's a big word, power.
Yeah.
Well, how would you define that?
I guess I would define it as that as a husband, being just knowing who you are and being all of that, bring that to the table. And then as a wife, being knowing all that you are and bringing that to the table and not feeling that you have to downsize yourself or make yourself small so that your partner can feel strong, but just bringing all of your power, in a sense, all of your positive, all of your negative, and just like, this is our marriage and this is what we bring to the table, because opposites do attract. But people fail to remember that the very thing that I love about you could also be the thing that kind of like hits me the wrong way. And instead of embracing that, they just want to detach from it or make the other person feel a certain kind of way about it, that it disappears. But if you let them be who they are and they're who they need to be, and you look at that negative thing or whatever is not rubbing you the correct way as something that can actually strengthen you, sharpen you, make you a better person, then you look at it differently, and you realize that we got power.
Yeah, let's use it. Yeah, should not be a wife should not marry a man that becomes her ceiling.
Right.
but rather her catalyst. So he has to be comfortable in his identity and his strength in his skin, so that when she submits to him, it's not her losing herself and losing her identity. Her submission should give strength to you and strength to your union. So you want to engage her strength as submission. So in her submission, she gets an advocate. She gets more strength or more power as it relates. So he's not insecure in her identity.
So you said the word submit. Now
Submit.
that word's a little.
It's a cuss word. To most
It's a
women.
cuss word. To most, right? You said it right, Pastor Eric. It's a cuss word. You know, in the church, I don't think it has been also misinterpreted.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you say submission, what do you mean by that?
I mean submission in the sense of submission. I think that it only becomes a cuss word because most women feel like they lose their strength when they submit.
Exactly.
When really they should gain strength by submission. It's not that you can't, it's that you don't have to now, because you have given that leadership, that advantage to someone else. My wife still know how to pump gas, but she don't have to now. She still know how to pay bills. She necessarily don't have to now. There's things she still know how to do that in her submission she begins an advocate to, right? It's in our own relationship with God. When we submit to him, it's not that we lose ourselves, but we find ourselves. So I think ladies fight the word submission, first of all, because they feel like they're losing themselves or submitting to someone who is not going to cover them in the sense of giving them strength back as it relates to that. So submission is God's way. So it's not if you submit, it's how you submit and who you submit to that either gives you an advantage or makes you feel like you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah, because I feel like some women have that word submission is difficult for them because they feel that the person that they're submitting to is not the priest. He's not the protector. He's not the provider.
Okay.
So somebody got to be this in this relationship.
Yeah.
And so how am I going to submit to someone that's not doing those things? So I think sometimes when submission is questioned in regards to a woman, most of the time it has to be looked back as the husband and the leader and what is he bringing to the table and how is he stepping up. Because when a woman feels like all of that's taken care of, I don't have no problem falling back.
Right.
I don't have no problem falling back. If you doing everything and everything is being taken care of, I don't have any problem. I had no problem submitting to my husband. I was just about to say something. The only issue that I had was because of my independence and being raised by a single mother.
Yeah.
I had to change my paradigm.
That's good, right?
But it wasn't because I didn't want to.
That's right.
It was because I wasn't raised to do
it. Yeah.
Wow.
And I think a lot of people have engaged in relationships where they hadn't quite adequately counted up the cost to say, hey, if I engage in this marriage, can I submit? I don't just want your name and your advantages, but what am I submitting to? If I'm submitting my authority, my credit score, my last name, my bloodline, my individual traits, my social security number, because that's all the things that when you ask a woman to submit, a man doesn't have to give over none of that when he gets married. A woman got to go downtown and change all the paperwork. She has to submit that stuff to her. So if I'm submitting, what am I submitting to? So don't get in the marriage after you said you will and then you won't. If you will, then will. But before you will, know what you will do and what you're doing before you do it.
Wow.
And
Y'all
who you're
need to
submitting
counsel couples before they get married. Because like if you go into the marriage like knowing this, I think things, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect.
No,
But you
know what
got a
you're
lens.
getting into. Yeah.
You know what you're
Well, I
getting
mean,
into.
we do have conversations about people that are seriously dating and help them understand, is this the next step you want to take? Because healthy single people make healthy married people. Whole people make a whole marriage. It's not two halves that make a whole marriage. It's not you complete me. That sounds good on a movie, but the idea is you're whole, you're complete, you're whole, you complete. Two whole, complete people, individual, know who they are, what their purpose, what their passion is, get together, and then they make power.
This is good.
That's how you make power.
It's Relationship Talk Thursday with the Glens. Pastor Jermone Glenn, Pastor Erica Glenn. We're talking about power couples. And we got some questions coming through. Somebody wanted to know about finding common ground. It's happening right here on Inspiration 1390. Inspiration 1390, it is Relationship Talk Thursday. I'm Sonia here with Pastor Jermone Glenn and his lovely wife, Pastor Erica Glenn. And we're talking about power couples, the book Power Couples. And we touched on dating just a little bit earlier because the information that they're giving us, it's like we should know what the purpose of dating. As we're dating, this is something that I learned, you should be gathering data. But Pastor Erica, you have a definition for dating versus courting? Is this what's going on?
Well, that is truly what it is. It is
Yeah.
truly gathering information, and it's more information, and it's more than just what is your favorite color. It's more than what's your
Surface.
favorite restaurant. You
Right.
know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like when they had that whole thing about ain't nobody gonna take me to Chili's. Our first date was at Chili's. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like we understood that in order for me to know in order for me to date you, I have to know you and I have to see you in different spaces and places. So for 30 days, we saw each
Every
other
day.
every single day.
Really?
So every
Every day.
single day as a woman,
Yeah.
you're going to see my emotions. You're going to see when I'm on my cycle, how I act.
Wow.
You're going to see if I get angry. I want to see every emotion that's inside of you
That's
because
right.
I need to know who you really are and
Consistency.
can I deal with that
Yeah.
and the consistency of it all.
Yeah, you
And
can lie for a week or
exactly
a couple
or a
days.
weekend.
Yeah.
These online long distance relationships.
You gotta lean in.
You gotta lean into
to
the
collect
heavy
data.
things,
It's good.
and you want that person to get mad.
Yeah.
You want that person
wanna
to be
see 'em.
angry because you want to see how they handle
In all the
different
seasons.
things
That's
in
good.
all the seasons. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, dating was getting data.
And, you know, we translated that into the context of our marriage. We have Marriage Mondays. There's a whole podcast out there about it. It's called Marriage Monday. It's a thing we do. We date every Monday. I'm not really a Friday go-out dater. Sundays is the weekend for me. I'm tired.
Okay.
Saturday, I'm not hanging out.
Okay.
Sunday, we got church all day. But Monday is the down day. Monday is the day that we carve aside in our marriage to date. Every single Monday, we go, we do something. We eat, we talk, we discuss, we have conversation around, we have morning worship, hallelujah. We have Sunday night.
That's your favorite part.
Exactly. We have intentional, engaged time that's collected around dating. Our children know, our friends know, our family know. Our phone rarely rings on a Monday. People barely intrude into our lives because it is a sanctified, segregated time where we continue into dating even in our marriage because there's still things I need to know. In her definition of collecting data, there's still seasons. Who she is now is not who she was. What she wanted then is not what she wants now. What I wanted then is not what I want now. She's evolving. I'm evolving. Who are you today? What do you desire this week? What do you want in this season? I'm dating you. I'm not going to do it to get you, and then once I got you, then don't put investment into you.
that's great.
So I block it on the calendar. I'm a person of time. I'm a person of calendar. Meetings are important. I schedule it. I put on my calendar. My Marriage Monday is on my calendar because it is a high priority for me. We have family days. That is our Wednesday. Is our family day where we have intention. We sit around the table and eat dinner on Wednesdays and on Sundays.
Wow.
Today, we can't do it all the time, but on Wednesdays, my family know we eating dinner together. On Sundays after church,
All
we
this
eating dinners
structure.
on
This is
Sunday.
a lot of structure.
Because it's the same things. Well, because
the
whatever's
same-
it's the same things that was
It's
on
the
my
same thing
paper.
that I saw on his paper.
Right.
It's
But-
the same thing that's happening in our lives now.
But if you don't make your priorities and create them, people will create them for you. And then your marriage will become secondary. And then you wonder why it's not flourishing. It has no power because you haven't made it a priority. Anything that's important, you have to make it a priority. And if you don't protect it as a priority, people will chew up your time. They'll tell you, oh, you don't have nothing to do on Monday? I got you. Do this, do this. You don't have nothing to do on Wednesday? Come here. You don't have anything to do on Sunday? Come eat with us. Come eat with us. But our times that we protect are sacred around what our priorities are because we're intentionally building a family. My wife always say, this is our children's only childhood. Let's make it a good one.
that's
Let's
great.
try to
We had
minimize.
ours.
Yeah, we had ours. Let's try to minimize the trauma that they're going to have to deal with. Let's try to minimize the healing they're going to have to deal with. We're responsible for creating that framework. And so we date even in our marriage and even with our family.
I
We
love
date
that.
our children. We date
right.
our family. We intentionally involve them into the process.
And I think people have to also realize that whatever you feed gets larger.
That's right.
So it's like if you feed your marriage, it's going to get stronger.
Stronger.
If you don't feed it, it's going to get weaker. If you feed your children, your relationship with your children is going to get stronger. So whatever you want to see increased,
That's
you
right.
need to feed it. And whatever you want to see not increase,
Yeah.
stop
Starve
feeding
it.
it. Like you single, you trying to be celibate. Well, stop feeding sex. Stop sleeping. Stop sleeping around.
Stop feeding it pornography.
Exactly. Stop feeding it.
Right.
All right.
Yeah,
This is a
whatever
whole
you
nother
stop.
segment right
Okay.
there.
well, but it's the same segment because broken single people create broken marriages.
Oh.
Healed single people create healed, healthy marriages. So it does. The work in marriage doesn't begin when you get married. The work in marriage begins while you are single. You increase your value while you're single, and whole plus whole equal whole. Two whole people come together, make a whole person, and make a whole marriage. That's how power is happening.
All right.
Yeah.
This has been a great first show with y'all. I'm telling you, we can keep on talking. But we're going to have to end this. We're going to come back next Thursday. This is not over, y'all. Yeah. Relationship Talk Thursday is happening with Pastor Jermone Glenn and Pastor Erica Glenn. Now, if folks want to get your book, or if they want to follow up with you guys about this conversation, what's the best way to do that?
It's all on my website, Jermone, Jermone, not Jerome, Jermone Glenn, Jermone Glenn .com. All the website, the shirts we got on, everything is all there. I've been able to write over 20 books. 4 of them I wrote with my wife. They're relationship books. Power Couples is the latest one. We're about to take it on a little mini tour in certain cities, and so it's good to share it with you. Use your strengths. Use your differences not as disconnection, but use it as a power. And a new life on the fourth weekend in February. Actually, we got a marriage thing that's happening at New Life. Everybody's invited. We're going to sit and do a talk around power couples. You can come to it and join us. It's going to be a good night of fellowship. Marriage Monday podcast is on all your podcast platforms. So we're out here trying to make sure that people have the proper information and impartation to have successful families and successful marriages.
Pastor Erica, you have the last words? What do you want to say?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for having a heart for marriages.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is truly our passion, and we believe it is our ministry. And I'm just grateful I'm humbled to be able to be used by God for that. And we believe in marriage, and the enemy is coming after marriage, severely. And you guys, if you're on the brink of divorce,
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Get to counsel with somebody. It is not as bad as you think it is. We have seen some rough situations, and how when people make a decision that we're going to be married, and they are married and they want to stay married and they want the best for their marriage, then that's when you see such a great thing happen, a miracle happen in their marriage, because most of us don't know how to be married. And once you admit that you don't know how to be married, the information and the knowledge is going to come. But you have to first say, I don't know what I'm doing. And it's okay to say, I don't know what I'm doing. And then you'll get the information. And then you'll be able to break generational curses, and your children will definitely have a foundation that is necessary for them to be who they are called to be.
Hi, thanks for calling Relationship Talk Thursday. It's Sonia with Pastor Jermone and Pastor Erica. We're talking about power couples. Did you have a question for the team?
For having me on. I had a quick question. I had a question about challenges on finding common ground. How do you do that?
I think that's a great question. I think my wife stated earlier that it's important to know what you bring to the table, right? So everybody bring who they are to the table, all of who they are to the table. And then if you would simply as write it down on a piece of paper, and then find where you have matches. These are our strengths. This is what we both feel. This is what we both want. This is what we both believe. We just walked a couple through this exercise in a conversation we were having, where we asked them to write down what they want from their marriage and what they were also willing to bring, but don't share it with each other. Bring it to the conversation. Then read it out loud to each other in the presence of all of us. When they did that, they found out that they had more things in common that they wanted than they had different. And then they were able to hear from themselves that they really weren't on separate pages as they thought they were. They both were after the same things. And once they were able to see it and hear it, then they can start working towards it.
Yeah, because I think that exercise is powerful to be separated, because as a couple, you're just, you're always doing everything together. And I think we fail to realize that as a quote unquote individual, I am attracted to this person because of what they bring to the table, but differences and insecurities and being offended causes everything to be foggy versus showing you how things are common. So that exercise is very, very good to do.
I love it. Thank you so much for calling. Did that answer your question?
Oh yeah, definitely. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye. Hi, thanks for calling Relationship Talk Thursday. I'm here with Pastor Jermone and Pastor Erica Glenn. We're talking about being a power couple. You have a question?
Yes, I do. My name's Carmen, and I was curious about how you stay united as a couple when you're going through disagreements or really tough seasons in your marriage.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the first thing that I would tell you is don't get out of your bed. Yep, I said it. Do not get out of your bed.
That's good.
Stay in your bed. Stay close together, in close proximity, because when you depart from each other, you allow other things to get in the middle of it versus you coming together.
That's good, babe. I would have to add to that, get on the same side of the situation, right? So physically, when we're in a tough space or a disagreement, I always say to my wife, it's it against us, not us against, not it between us. Okay. So it is us facing the financial crisis. It's us facing the circumstance. It's whatever it is, we get on the same side. And I'll take it to the advantage that I'll even sit on the same side of her as we discuss it, as opposed to sitting across from her. So even physically, my body language doesn't say that something is between us and we're dealing with it. I'll sit on the side of her next on the couch or in a seat and say, let's discuss how this thing over here is intruding generationally, impacting us, trying to challenge us, trying to break us up, and we stay on the same side of the story, even if the thing that's trying to attack us is trying to get between us. We keep it on the other side of us. So stay in your bed and stay on the same side.
You like that? Is that a good answer for you?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks for calling.